And our fourth main topic today gets submitted to us by Alan Renshaw. And Alan Renshaw writes, I saw an article that said an animated Lord of the Rings movie is coming to theaters. I like the series, but this feels like an odd choice. What do you think? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, of course, Lord of the Rings is, well, number one, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think a lot of people acknowledge like some of the best movies we've ever had. It is still talked about and celebrated all the time. Amazon right now is in the midst of shooting and developing their Lord of the Rings series, which apparently is going to be like the most expensive television series of all time. They have spent obscene amount of money on getting this thing's going. So New Line saw that and thought, we still have the rights to make certain types of Lord of the Rings material, and Amazon has kind of given us all this free publicity. Why don't we take a crack at making another Lord of the Rings thing? This comes to us from the folks over at Joe Blow, who write, per Deadline, The War of the Rohirrim, that's going to be the name of the movie, The War of the Rohirrim, focuses on a character from the book's appendix, the mighty king of Rohan, Helm Hammerhand. Of course, a little bit connected to Helm's Deep. Anyway, and a legendary battle that helped shape Middle-earth heading into Lord of the Rings. The anime pick will expand the untold story behind the fortress of Helm's Deep, delving into the life and blood-soaked times of Hammerhand. Overall, the movie is a companion piece to New Line's Lord of the Rings trilogy and is set roughly 250 years before the movie during the Third Age. All right. So look, I'm not going to lie. Like, my first thing that I thought of when I heard that they were going to do an animated Lord of the Rings prequel, I thought, okay, so cheap, straight-to-home video, kind of like DC and Marvel's animated stuff. But then I read, no. New Line is actually treating this dead serious. They want to make this a full theatrical film talking about this. So there's two different approaches the way I look at this. Number one, the whole notion of the history and the background to Helm's Deep, going into the story of Helm Hammerhand, of the Rohirrim. I love the Rohirrim in Lord of the Rings. The scenes with the Rohirrim and King Theoden are some of the best. Like, you guys know. You guys know, right? Like one of my all-time favorite lines, like chest-pounding, grr moments, like you feel the blood of a man in your veins. When you see it, it's like when Strider comes running in, it says, the torches have been lit, Gondor calls for aid, and Theoden, with that manly look on his face, says, and Rohan shall answer. I literally want to jump up out of my chair every time I hear that guy say that. So going back into the history of the Rohirrim, to me, is a great idea, and I'm all on board. How do I feel about it being animated? I don't know. So I'm a little iffy on that part. I'll tip on the side of saying I'm interested. I like that they're focusing on the Rohirrim. I like that they're setting about 250 years previous. I like that it's going to be focused on Helm's Deep. There's a lot of stuff there to like. How will it turn out in an animated format? Theatrical, though, not made for video. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Dennis, we've got Lord of the Rings coming to Amazon. It is still one of the hottest names in entertainment. Them doing an animated movie. I don't know. What did you think when you heard about this?
Yeah, I mean, my immediate thoughts went to a streaming series because that's kind of been the thing now. You have like, obviously, I just watched the Pacific Rim animated series on Netflix. I watched the Dota series on Netflix that Rob worked on. They did the Castlevania one, and they're doing a Resident Evil one. So I just immediately thought they're doing some sort of I thought it was going to be like on Amazon Prime. They're going to do like some sort of animated series that was going to lead into to help build momentum for the live action series. And then when I read that, I was like, oh, no, this is a movie and it's come out in theaters. My thought was like, man, like obviously Lord of the Rings is a very popular property and people want to see anything that comes out of it. But it's like, you really have to do something special, especially in the animated world when it's not a Disney or for kids or anything like that, to get people into the theaters to watch this. So in a way, it's almost like, look, they're not spending the budget of a live action series, but at the same time, it is kind of a risky endeavor to go straight into theater, especially after the pandemic as well. So I don't know, if they're really going to kind of get the return that they may be expecting.
Rob, you hear about this. I know you're a big Lord of the Rings fan. You have some connection. You did some work on those releases. Anyway, what do you think about this idea about doing like 250 years earlier about the Rohirrim, Helm's Deep in an anime style? How do you think about it?
Well, the first thing I thought about is, why isn't this a live action movie? Like, they might not have the rights to do a live action film and they're going the anime route. There's a lot of great talent involved in this series, the writers and of course the animator. They've really got a great group of people working on it, and I would assume that the script is damn solid. But my first question is, why do it? Why do an animation? This sounds like it's a standalone story. It illuminates part of the Third Age that we haven't heard about. It's a really interesting character that they're going into. The Rohirrim are obviously great. We Theoden and we love the Riders of Rohan. So the origins of them I think are a natural, and I'd love to see this in live action. But barring that, I mean, it seems, look, while I like the idea, it just seems like a strange cash grab. But I understand. I mean, it ain't show friends, it's show business. So why not? But again, if you can get away with making this story, I would love to see it in live. I would go back to New Zealand and shoot this thing. Make it live action. I don't know why do it as an animated film.
The question has to be asked, does New Line even have the rights to do live action now?
Well, that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
I bet they don't.
So there's that and cost. Because they're not doing this in 3D CG animated style that would cost like $200 million to make.
Right.
I mean, so and to do something like this live action would probably be $250 million plus by today's standards, versus what are they going to spend on this? Maybe $50 million bucks. So it's a lot less of a thing in two. But I agree with you though. Like, personally, I would like to see this. I want to see this in live action, but if all we're getting is the animated one, well, let's give it a shot and see how it turns out. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this idea? A full straight to movie theaters anime style Lord of the Rings set 250 years before the events of Lord of the Rings, focusing on the Rohirrim. It's a neat sounding concept. Will it actually work out? What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.